Hello fellow tacticians and welcome to the Tyrant Guard character spotlight. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the second Tyranid to come to Tacticus and discuss its potential uses, abilities, traits, and everything that we can about it. Now a quick disclaimer, I am on the test server, so the character that you do see before you is not on my main account and has been built up specifically for this video. A big thanks to Snowprint as they have officially recognized me as a content creator, and I'm looking forward to all of the things that will come with this partnership moving forward. So let's begin taking a look at this character. The Tyrant Guard definitely has a very tanky aesthetic and appearance, and that really matches its abilities and general presence in the game. Starting off with the traits, one that we've seen many times before is going to be Big Target. Big Target is essentially going to make it so that it can't really get benefits from defensive positioning like tall grass and trenches. However, it will buff adjacent friendly units and make sure that they take one less hit from ranged attacks. Now, mind you, if it's a single ranged attack, it does nothing. But that is going to be a very important trait to take a look at when we start looking at the abilities for the character. Second off, we have Crushing Strike. Now, very similar to Heavy Weapon that already exists in the game for our snipers, like Calandus and Malgan Raw, if this character doesn't move, then it gets additional melee bonus damage, and 50% unlike the Heavy Weapon's 25%, so definitely not moving him, keeping him around your units just from the traits is going to be very beneficial. Now, taking a look at his stats, very high health and decent armor coming in for this character. Let's take another look at a tanky character already in the game. We have Arjak here, who has, 3,000 health, 694 armor, just base. Now, you can see here the Tyrant Guard is very competitive in terms of tank stats with a traditional tank in the game already, so you're going to really be able to see some of that tanky aspect coming in for this character. Now, what really will set him apart in terms of reliable tankiness will be the character equipment itself. Has access to not one, but two defensive items, and if you just look at the Legendary 1 ability here, you can see 188 health coming in baseline and 105 armor coming in baseline. Two of those slapped onto this character, maxed out, he will become an absolute menace to society, and will hardly take damage from a lot of the current elements in the game. Now, mind you, that I really, in spoiler for the discussion later, really only seeing this character coming into play and being useful for legendary release events and onslaughts, not going to really benefit you too much in terms of guild raids for the tanky aspect. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the abilities here. We have the active ability setting at rank 35. We could take this all the way up to 50. I decided to keep him at Epic Gold 1 just because the realistic expectations of taking him all the way up to rank 50, not really feasible at this time for a lot of players. But it will deal 2x piercing damage to an adjacent enemy and taunts them for 1 round. I believe this is only the second time that we've gotten taunt in the game. The only other time that I know of is with Brother Jaeger, and the character overall pretty underwhelming, so taunt coming in here for the Tyrant Guard is going to be pretty awesome. Enemies adjacent to both the Tyrant Guard and the target are dealt physical damage and then get pushed back 1 hex. All affected units become suppressed for 1 round. There is a lot going on with this ability. We have taunt for the second time. We have more suppression coming in, which could synergize well-ish with the Neurothrop, but the issue that I have there is it's a 1-use. You'd rather have it reliably baked into the character's ability like Thaddeus or Volk. So a little disclaimer there for a lot of that synergy potential that I had hoped to see with the Tyranids. Now the big thing that I really want to highlight here is the pushback, which is beautiful for AoE kind of crowd control, but also the fact that this ability does physical damage. Now, if you've done legendary release events in the past, you'll know that anytime you see the physical trait come up, it is a nightmare. That trait single-handedly prevented me from getting a blue star Jane Zara in the last event, just because physical champions in this game are very underwhelming and just generally not tanky. So the Tyrant Guard coming in here is going to change the landscape for legendary release events massively. Now let's take a look at Guardian Organism. At the end of its turn, if he did not move, which synergizes really well with its Crushing Blows trait, or is within Synapse range, then it and friendly units affected by its big target trait take damage reduction up to a maximum of X amount per hit. Now, granted, you see the values here. This does eventually scale up to 33% at legendary ranks, but taking a third less damage is massive, especially when you're protecting other weaker characters in the form of Onslaught or legendary release events. I had originally taken a look at dropping this character into Onslaught and doing some gameplay footage. However, I feel it's pretty underwhelming just to see, Tyranid on Tyranid action, unless that's something that you're excited to see. But definitely this character coming in here will be an absolute brick wall when it comes to tanky stats, and will be able to provide a lot of that defensive synergy with other tanks as well, and other characters that aren't inherently tanky. So definitely a lot of value coming in for legendary release events and Onslaught. Guild raids, not so much. Take a look at all the guild raids that you'd be able to bring them to, Mortarion, Silent King, or Gaz, and the need for a tank just really isn't there, especially when you take a look at Mortarion, who does primarily psychic damage, which just eats through armor and not going to really net you a lot of gain. I have seen a lot of people in the game be very disappointed with the Tyrant Guard coming in, and I've also seen the inverse, a lot of people getting excited about it. Now, unfortunately, we won't see the Malgan Ra event come by again, or the Jane Zar event come by again, where this character could have provided a lot of value for had we had it a month earlier. But definitely coming in for the Anshi Round 3 event, where physical damage will once again be very important. I personally want this character in my roster to really help me break through some of those boundaries that I was running into. I think ultimately I was stopped at a brick wall at level 6 when it came to physical damage. So that's 600 points I left on the table that I was not able to get, and this character leveled up decently enough would really help me get to that point. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tyrant Guard. In the future, I definitely want to have a lot more structure to these character spotlights. I want to have a lot more gameplay opportunities. I came into the program a little late here, so I'm behind the bell curve a little bit, but stay tuned for my tier list video coming out soon, which will have a character giveaway. Stay tuned also, as the new guild boss is coming to the game here soon, and I will definitely be bringing you coverage for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know, a little underwhelming for an announcement, but I'm glad to be a part of this community. I'm glad to be an official content creator, and I hope to keep bringing you some awesome videos, awesome coverage. As always, if you have comments, questions, concerns, leave them down in the comments. Please give me a like or a subscribe if you can, and until next time, peace.